and welcome to another episode of the Who Dat Jedi podcast. This is episode 249 for your record books. My name's Aaron. With me, as always, Dave and Fredo, the other members of the Who Dat Jedi Council. Hi, guys.
Hello.
And like I said, in the background is my dog Sophie chewing on a bone, so I apologize. But it is what it is. Dave has a dog. Fredo likes dogs. So, you know.
Dogs like me.
Yep, they do.
That's more important.
They certainly do. So anyway,
they're good judges of character.
I would agree with 100% that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Well, where are we tonight? What are we gonna do? So tonight's we're doing a little bit of a kind of a fun little thought project. We're gonna come up with our the Star Wars either movies or Disney Plus shows that we would like to see. So like I said, just a little thought experiment of what content there is out there. We got some big news about A New Hope, so that's going to be a big conversation. But even bigger is the Saints beating the Bucks. I mean, I love being a spoiler. I do. I love being a spoiler, especially when it's in conference. That was just... It was not as fun as the year that we just embarrassed Tom Brady with the whole CD Deuce. You know, that was
mean mugging him.
Yeah, that was. But this was, the Bad News Bears, beating the New York Yankees, for crying out loud. It was fun. So, so what do you guys think? Do we have our quarterback, or is it too soon to tell?
I think he did enough to at least warrant getting next season. And that's the thing, you don't know, because right now, unless you get a generational talent, whether it's a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, that kind of quarterback, Drew Brees, you really have to rely on the quality of the team around you to truly give you the best assessment. It's one thing, you can look good, playing with a lot of good talent, like Brock Purdy has done in San Francisco, or you can end up looking like JJ McCarthy has in Minnesota, where he feels like the anchor will bringing everything down. So, but at the very least, given his performances, given the leadership, just given the fact that it feels like the offense is stabilized, like it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? I'd say at least he's earned next season.
Dave,
that frees them to do other stuff.
Dave, not to make you do work during fun, but this is kind of your wheelhouse. I mean, what do you think of Tyler Shuck so far?
It does some things on tape that other quarterbacks can't necessarily do. So that's the sort of thing excites you when you see him make a really athletic play that it still comes within the structure of the offense. And I think he's fine, right? Like, I don't think that he's hit his ceiling. And
to Fredo's point, you're not going to get a Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. You just if you have somebody back there that's Jared Goff competent, sorry, I just stepped on you, but you took a drink of something there. So I mean, I think like you said, I think he's going to be fine.
I think he's already there, right? Like, he's already past the point of hindrance. Like, I like the idea of framing it in that way, which is when you have a rookie quarterback on the field and you're winning because of them, not in spite of them, then a good spot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where they find themselves right now. He was directly responsible for that victory, and then you could do the same thing when you talk about that Carolina win.
Well, the other thing is the rookie running back, Devin Neal, is that his name? That drafted him in 6th.
Yeah.
I wonder. I know Alvin is hurt, but I have a feeling that the coaching staff was like, all right, just start your vacation early and let's give this guy some reps and see what he can. He's doing some good stuff. So, I mean, I think we have reason to feel quasi optimistic. Not for this season. This season's done.
Yeah, no, it's it's been done.
But I like that we're not. I thought a couple games ago we were starting to give up. It was you could just kind of, but now it seems like there's a little bit of fight. Fredo.
Funny thing is this, and I'm talking about it with the security guard at my office building yesterday. We're laughing about it. That the Saints are about to do the normal Saints thing, which is win out and just end with like the 12th pick in the draft next year. Because look, here's who they have left: Panthers, Jets, Titans, Falcons, all bad teams. So, you mean could they lose any of those games? Absolutely. The Saints are not a great team, but if you tell me they go, no, end up with like a 7-10 record, and all of a sudden we're staring at, we go from holding the number one pick a month ago to now being 11, 12. We're going to be like, yep, Saints right on cue. They did just enough and give us just enough hope to think maybe next year we'll be better.
Yeah, I do not like the concept of tanking.
You pay for your tickets. Yeah,
so,
exactly. That's not fun when you're tanking.
Yeah. If you're taking people's money and they're paying you good money for tickets and concessions and everything, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Come on. No, that as a paying customer, I would reject that and bounce.
Another funny thing that I've kind of noticed, and I don't know, maybe you guys agree or disagree. It's like I can tell you right now who the bad teams in the NFL are. I don't know that I can tell you who the really good teams are. Is any really good team? We've seen like a bad performance, or we can see like the glaring 2 meter wide hole in the structure, in their superstructure is going to blow them up from playoff time. Like I know that we're bad. I know that the Jets are bad, the Panthers, the Titans are bad, Falcons are bad. These are bad teams, but the good teams, I don't know that I'm thinking there's any team like we were in 2009 or the Chiefs were the last 2, 3 seasons, or the Eagles were like that. It's like I just go like it's chaos, and maybe that's a good thing.
Makes it interesting. Well, y'all didn't show up to listen to a Saints podcast, but it was something to rejoice. So we're talking about it. So let's dive into some Star Wars trivia before we get into our topics for the evening. Oh man, I need my glasses. I don't have them. All right. Well, Fredo, you're gonna go first. Oh, I almost misread this. That would have been funny. How many tentacles sprout from the gigantic blue head of Twi'lek Senator Orn Free Taa? How many tentacles, NT? What movie did I just reference there? Tentacles, NT. Sprout from the gigantic blue head of Twi'lek Senator Orn Free Taa. And bonus points if you can get the movie that I referenced.
Now I'm gonna miss the bonus, but I'm going to say 3. No, there's 2. I don't know. There's one in the back. That's the one I'm not sure.
The answer is 4.
See, I shortchanged myself.
Dave, for a bonus point, do you know the movie that I referenced?
Of course, Better Off Dead.
There you go. Fredo, have you seen that movie?
Not in a long, long, long time.
That is such an awesome movie. Just such an awesome. Do you know what the street value of this mountain is? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just.
I really enjoy that one.
Two brothers. One doesn't speak any English, and the other one learned it all from watching ABC Wild World of Sports. Wide World of Sports. Oh, and Ricky. Okay. Dave, to you, who declines to tell Obi-Wan Kenobi where Anakin was headed? That's a vague question. Who declines to tell Obi-Wan Kenobi where Anakin was headed?
I'm going to guess that since this was a major plot point in the third movie, I'm going to say it was Padme.
It was Padme. You're right. All right. And to me, who does Count Dooku greet as my old Jedi friend? Who does Count Dooku greet as my old Jedi friend? That's going to be Yoda. No, it's Mace Windu. Oh my gosh.
That's right, yeah.
Oh,
well, I would have thought Yoda too.
Yeah, that would have been my guess.
Well,
We
Dave-
would have all got it wrong.
Dave whomped our butts on that one. All right. Got his question right and a bonus point. All right. Well, let's see here. News.
All right, let's start with the big news. Now, we had talked about this before. It had been leaked, but it's official as of.
Do we want to talk about that last in the news run-up? Since
Okay.
I mean, since
Sure,
that's going to
sure.
be a
Yeah,
big
it's the biggest one. Yeah,
conversation.
'cause- okay, let's go with the more recent news because there's been a lot. Obviously, we're about to start heading into award season time, so lots of nominations have been announced, and so the first kind of big one is Diego Luna got nominated for a Golden Globe for best performance in a male actor in a TV series drama for Andor, and right alongside that, Andor and Diego got nominated for two Critics' Choice Awards. The show got nominated for, give me one sec. Uh, now all of a sudden, the show's nominated for Best Drama Series, and Diego's again nominated for Best Actor in a Drama Series. So
They give
it's interesting.
they give Golden Globes for TV shows.
The Golden Globes are both movies and TV, comedy and drama.
Yeah, it kind of pulls in everything.
Mhm.
You know, as on a tangent, Sinners had a lot of nominations, Golden Globe nominations in the category of comedy or musical.
That's you know what that is? That is we want to award Sinners for something, but everybody and their mama's gonna award everything to Paul Thomas Anderson's movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's say One Battle After Another, which is weird because that's like a 3.5 hour movie that everybody talks about it being great, but it's like I would have that one would have fit more into comedy stuff than Sinners. But
Well,
you know,
it's obviously they're going the musical route, but anyway, this has nothing to
Mhm.
do with Diego. Diego Luna, that's awesome. But I don't necessarily know if he was the strength of the strongest performance in that series. I mean, he was great, but I don't necessarily know if he was the strongest performance in that series.
well, what's interesting is they're nominating him, but they did not nominate the show. And when you start looking at the people he's competing against, he's going up against Gary Oldman, Mark Ruffalo, uh, Sterling K. Brown, Noah Wiley, Adam Scott. Like this is a stacked list of competitions versus when you start thinking about best drama series.
Now, I guess I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm going to
yeah,
interrupt
it's
you
like
there. I'm
no,
changing
no, go
my
ahead.
changing my thought because male actors on that show, yeah, probably. It could be argued
Mhm.
that maybe Skarsgård um, was
Well,
stronger, but I
would you have? Let me
yeah.
step on you just real quick. Would you have nominated Skarsgård more for season one than season two, though?
Maybe.
I thought his performance in season one was what, in some ways, the stronger one. I
Yeah.
thought season two he was good, but I do think season two was mostly, let's be fair, carried by the women.
Yes.
Whether it was
100%.
Genevieve O'Reilly, whether it was Adria Arjona, you start going down the list of all the actresses who were just nailing their
Elizabeth
performances.
Delau, who did
Exactly.
Clea.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's like I would have thought, if I would have nominated anybody for season one, it would have been Skarsgård. Whereas I think season two probably would have been some of these female performances. But again, the show's named after him, so he gets the nomination. That's the way a lot of this stuff works, unfortunately. But
I think
again,
Andy Serkis deserved an award for season one. I don't know how, but guest star maybe.
yeah,
Maybe best guest star performance because like he
you do
he
have that.
was so good. He was
Yeah.
so good. But yeah, season two, it's all about the ladies. We did a whole episode on this.
Yep.
Anybody that missed that episode, like back in May when the show wrapped, we talked about feminism in Andor, because it is really obvious. It's there,
Mhm.
in a good way, not in the feminazi or whatever
I
your
saw the meme.
misconception might be.
Saw the meme again. That's big. It's like just think of the ending of A New Hope, and you've got Clea and Val just off screen going, really, really.
I don't know if that's worth the whole show or not. At some point, to just talk about that medal ceremony.
Mhm.
Yep. Well,
Within the context of everything.
within the context of Rogue One and Andor and yeah,
Chewie not getting the medal, I mean, there's a lot. We could probably devote a whole show to that problematic medal ceremony. Oh well.
There's a lot of unrecognized important press characters that go towards making those two guys look good. Which standard operating procedure for a lot of stuff, but at the same time, you like throw it. One other thing, right quick, before we get off award stuff, because American Film Institute did list their yearly top 10 shows of the year, and Andor was in there alongside stuff like The Pit, Pluribus, Severance, The Studio, Adolescence. So again, it's interesting. This is a lot of the stuff. I mean, there's 2 or 3 Star Wars shows a year have been. This is the first one that's getting all the plaudits, it's getting all the recognition, getting all the respect from the kind of audiences that normally kind of look their nose down at sci-fi in general and Star Wars definitely. Like they may like it, they don't think, oh, this ranks alongside something like The Pit or Pluribus or something made by Soma Tour. It's getting that recognition. It's interesting because part of me wonders if Disney's not thinking back, going, we should have given uh, Tony more money to keep this thing going. We probably could have gotten on some stages and won some awards with this if we had kept it going.
Maybe, yeah. Because to that point, it didn't. I don't think it's getting enough recognition, even though it's getting more recognition than other Star Wars properties. I still don't think it's getting enough. And we just talked about all the female actors who have been in the series that did incredible work. Incredible work. There's so many, like, again, best show type awards that it should be up for. Best show runner, direction, all of those things. I don't think that it's my thing with this show is, like, I can't come up with a reason for someone not to watch it when I encounter someone out in the wild who hasn't seen it yet, and they say, oh well, I sort of gave it a try, right? I haven't really sat down and tried yet. Like, the best I can come up with as kind of a warning is it sort of demands your attention. You can't.
It's not a passive watch.
Yeah, you can't be like flipping on your phone and not paying any attention. It demands that you pay attention to it.
The nice thing is, and it's accessible. You don't need to have seen any of the other Star Wars movies to enjoy what's going on here. It's accessible immediately.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's amazing.
Well, we've talked about this a bunch, so
I'll move over to what the other big piece of news was. So those are all award nominations, recognitions. But let's go back to day one, chapter 1, verse 1. Star Wars, New Hope. Actually, before it was even a New Hope. So
wasn't it chapter 4?
Yeah, well, chapter 4. No, it's chapter 7. Now, chapter 7 was Spaceballs.
It did say. It did say episode 4, chapter 4.
No, originally had nothing. It was just the opening crawl. Then it was episode 4.
You're correct.
Then it was
You're correct.
A New Hope. And then they added episode 4, A New Hope.
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, they kept adding to the lore anyway. But yes, it was officially announced after a few weeks of guessing by everybody. And by the way, and I'll mention this, it seems like it's a thing now where directors, movie studios are comfortable re-releasing their classics back to the theaters. I went to saw Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair over the weekend, which was an interesting experience. New Line is releasing the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy next month, all 3 of them. So
that's what we need.
Well, that's the thing. Right? It's like the Fellowship of the Ring is now like 3.5 hours.
Bring your adult diapers with you, buddy.
Now, yes, some theaters will have you do it back to back to back, which is like a 12-hour marathon. But what's interesting is the extended editions were never in theaters; they were just only in DVD, Blu-ray.
I know.
Now they're being put. So because
again, you can hit pause and you can go to the
bathroom, get a drink. Yeah, you can't do that in theater. But to all that, It was officially announced by StarWars.com, February 19th, 2027. So 9 days after I turned 50, the Star Wars: A New Hope will be re-released, the 1977 original, for a limited time everywhere. So part of Lucasfilm's year-long 50th anniversary celebration is a newly restored version of the classic Star Wars, later a theatrical release, later renamed Star Wars: A New Hope, which will play in theaters for a limited time. So obviously, we're talking still a year and a half away, from all this, or actually a year and a half, a year and 2, 3 months, 2 months, whatever. Anyway, from all that happening, so they got plenty of
Year and a
time
month.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, they got plenty of time to, come up with details, make aware, at least this. And the idea that they are going to make a concerted effort seems to recognize the 50th anniversary. I mean, we know that there's starfighters coming at Memorial Day that year, to coincide with the release of A New Hope. Celebration in LA is going to be a big old celebration, literally a big old party about that 50th anniversary. So I think that they're starting the year off by announcing, okay, you get to go back to theaters and rewatch the movie you went as a kid to go watch. And if
So
you
I
never
don't
brought your kids to see the original, here you go.
I don't know if they said this in the release or anything.
Mhm.
But Britt and I were talking. It seems to me because they showed it in London like last year,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
This year.
all reports were is that it like looked rough,
It was a
and
mess.
Mhm.
so I'm sure that this is like, okay, we need to do a restoration of this, and while we're doing it, we might as well get people's money. So there's let's have. I think it can be both things, right? It's like, hey,
Well,
we got our
well,
50th celebration. Let me get my points out here.
mhm.
It can be the 50th celebration, but it's also, like I said, a restoration thing. So two questions, one serious, one kind of funny. One, oh, I forgot the serious question real quick. Oh no, that was okay.
Oh,
So it was because Britt asked this morning when we were talking about this. You know, did George Lucas have to sign off on this, or does Disney own that original cut and they can do whatever the heck they want? That was the one thing. The second thing is, what do you think the people are going to be most mad about when they go watch this? Because somebody's going to be mad about something. What do you think they're going to be mad about? Anyway, so those are my two questions.
so before I answer the question, I'll say real quick that you're correct because if you remember, when the special editions came out in the late '90s, that was an effort spearheaded by the fact that the original masters of those movies were degraded to such a point they were beginning to turn translucent. So they recognized they had to go back and clean them up, and that's when they went, well, if we're going to clean them up and make them all nice, let's start, throwing back into theaters. Let's make them special. Does. To your serious question, I believe that Disney owns Star Wars lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. They own every aspect of it. They can do whatever they want with that movie. If they want to throw extra tauntauns and speeder bikes in there, they can do so. They can do whatever they want. As to the funny question, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think about that. Yeah, I'll let Dave answer because I lost my train of thought.
I think the most noticeable thing for people that will go back and watch that the original cut will be like the Death Star battle. Like, whoa, this feels slow and lame, and they look like models, and I can see the mats around the Tie Fighters, and
I think I think people are going to get into slap fights over the fact that they're gonna die on the hill that the big scene was in that original cut and it was not. So anyway,
Yeah, I think for me, what's going to be interesting for me answering the second question is we've now had at least one generation for whom A New Hope is the special edition, not the one we saw in theaters as kids. So
right.
I wonder how it's going to feel like for them to go into a movie theater and watch that movie and no, wait a minute, we don't get the entrance into Mos Eisley. There is no Java team. There is no McClunky. All like I said, the Death Star battle is way less dynamic. It's way more swooping, slow. Uh,
here's the thing though. I want
so it's like, how are they going to manage that?
anybody within earshot. I think the three of us would agree with this. It's like you are going to be able to watch Star Wars in the movie theater. Enjoy it. But it's just, I mean, just enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a little bit like going to see, if you were to go see The Who right now, yeah, they're old. They don't, they kind of have it, but they're losing it, in some places. They might have to change some keys to, because Roger Daltrey can't hit the notes. But, man, I saw The Who at Jazz Fest, and I was like, I'm glad I saw The Who. So just go and enjoy. So
This is, what do you think you are, man? Like, we're posting this on the internet, man. People are not going to be that way.
no, they're not. That's I know they're going to get in slap fights over the fact that over these dumb things. I wonder. Well, let me. Okay, so this is a serious question. Do you think this will bring more appreciation to the special editions?
For some, yes. For some, yes.
Do you think there's some people eating crow going, you know what? Yeah, that was a good thing they did, and they need to do it again and fix some other things?
I think it gets interesting for a lot of people because, like I said, this isn't just like we're gonna go watch them back to back. There's been enough time now that the special editions are the definitive edition for many, particularly young people, particularly fans of the prequels, fans of the sequels. Like Dave's kids have only seen the special edition. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to take them to the movie theater to see any of these movies, the original trilogy, but seeing this movie as you saw it, it's going to be a completely different dynamic for you who saw it as a kid and remembers all that experience. To them, who it's like, wait a minute, this is more like I'm not even thinking of the Who. It's like going to watch the Beach Boys, like not even the Beach Boys in the '60s. You're watching footage of the Beach Boys in the '60s on the screen, and you're gonna like, okay, that's it's nice, but
So now we're gonna have to coordinate between. So we're all gonna have to go watch this at the same time, right? All of
yes.
the Army of Darkness and Kate and Dave and Fredo and me and Britt. Yeah, we're gonna have to make this an event.
We can make it some kind of an event with our listeners. All four of you out there,
Yeah, that's right.
come down to New Orleans for the original.
Maybe my barber can come watch it with us. I'm sure he'll love to. So, Alan, you're welcome.
Yeah, well, we'll make it a whole party. Let's get everybody out. This is one of those things. I love that they're doing this. Because again, it will spark a lot of conversation. It will get people talking like, "Oh, well, which version's your favorite?" "Oh, I don't know." The thing that I think a lot of people maybe of like my age and younger aren't really considering is this is what they're talking about bringing out is a different version than you watched on HBO or on those VHSs. It's even different than what you experienced prior to the special editions. This, I can only assume at this point, right? Because this is how they're marketing it right now. The classic, later renamed, right? They're saying no, when you go watch, expect to not see A New Hope at the beginning, expect to see the movie in as close to the original format as humanly possible. So even for people like me and Fredo, I saw the original in theaters. I was way too young to remember anything other than just sort of flashes and pictures. And it was just, I was literally 3 months old when the first movie came out in its original run, and I didn't see it in theaters until a couple of years later. And again, even with that, I can remember the Tantive attack, and that's about it. And so it's just, and probably the garbage, the garbage masher, that really affected me from an early age on. Yeah, I remember that. like, oh yeah, there's a monster and the walls are closing in. Um, but yeah, it's not even like, even if you go like way back, you know, it's still not quite that same version that you may even think that it is. We're going way back, way back to the original. No, the crawl's different, special effects are different. Um, it
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
gonna be
I need to.
it'll be a trip for me, is
I
what I'm
am.
saying. Is like, I expect to see differences than what even I
I
remember.
am thinking. I want to. I'm gonna have to break out the VHS tape because I want to. I think that it did say episode 4 because George
Yeah,
Lucas wanted people to know that it was starting in the middle of something, not at the beginning. It did not say A New Hope. It said episode 4 and then the crawl.
I'm
I
nearly positive for the re-release when Empire was coming out, that was when the crawl got
but
changed.
that's when they added A New Hope. I think it
Yeah,
said episode 4 and then it started all the stuff, and then when Empire came out they added A New Hope because Empire Strikes Back was the next one. I'm pretty sure it said episode 4. I guess we'll find out. So I'll have a slap fight over that one. But I remember see they because they again they wanted to give the idea that we're starting in the middle of something. We're not starting at the beginning. So I think it always said episode 4.
the thing about George is he's a bit of a revisionist when it
Well,
comes to a lot of these.
I've
Like,
said it a bazillion times. Everybody's revisionist when they start
yeah,
remembering things. So
we all are,
yeah,
and I give him a lot of grace on that, because like he's given so many interviews over the years, and like, yeah, you can't keep everything straight. You can't always have it all 100% like ready to just spew out to someone when they put you on the spot. I like People have made a living off of calling this man a liar, basically. Like, you can go, you don't have to search very far on the internet to find people that are like, the secret conspiracy of George, and he's trying to cover all this up. And that's insane, people. Okay, I'm just gonna say, like, you're taking it a little too far. People forget things, people misremember things, people, yeah, we want to paint ourselves in as positive a manner as we possibly can. When I'm sharing a story of a disagreement that I had with somebody, yeah, I'm going to tell my side of the story. I'm not going to tell the other guy's side of the story. So it's just, we're human, right? We're all humans. So, like, that's where, with all of this, though, where I'm like, okay, just give the man a little bit of grit. Yeah, do I agree with your premise, with your first question? Or it's like, if George had the ability to stop this, would he have stopped it? Because, like, did he have a say in this at all?
yeah.
And we think he didn't have a say in this, and I do think he probably would have stopped it, because again, he's been consistent for darn near 30 years now. Like, I want a particular version out in
Now
the universe.
the Fredo's wanting to jump in here, but I think the thing is that this is going to be one of those. It's a one-time deal. It's not like the Who is releasing a new album. It's I doubt that this is going to be on Disney Plus and on, maybe I would not put it past
It'll
it.
be marketed that way to get people in seats, but yeah,
So, but I mean, I think I would not be surprised if it's like, yes, the special editions is the one for, all time, but here is our little gift to you. We're gonna a theatrical run, and then that's it. Fredo.
No, so just real quick, just to kind of, I had to go Wikipedia to this. So originally, yes, the original title was just Star Wars, and there was no subtitle. There was just The Crawl. The subtitle, Episode 4, A New Hope, is added for the first theatrical re-release, which is April 10, 1981,
Okay.
to align it with Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
Originally
Fair.
this was, yeah, and I think we to the point that they brought up, we tend to ignore, miss, or downplay the simple fact that this was being done on the fly. This wasn't a master plan. George Lucas did not sit down to plot. Yes, he had an idea for his story. He had an idea of how stuff's going to go.
Well, and it
But he
was meant to be
understood.
a one. It was probably going to be a one and done unless it made
Well,
money.
that's the
Right.
catch. I mean, and he's even admitted in interviews and stories have come out that he just simply picked the part that had the most action, which was A New Hope, and he figured, yeah, I'm going to get only one shot at this. Let's make this. If I get to make nothing else, I'm trying to make a Flash Gordon serial. I don't get the opportunity to make anything else or do anything else. I will at least do this. And then when it blew up, it's like, well, I guess I can do more. And now I got to go back and fit it all in and figure out how to go along. And but that's different than saying like right now we are accustomed in today's landscape for Marvel to announce a 10 movie project phase or James Cameron to come out with I'm going to make 4 Avatar sequels and know for a fact that we are going to get those movies because this is a major filmmaker backed by a major studio. This is going to happen. 1977, George Lucas is a filmmaker coming out of American Graffiti. And yeah, he's got a little bit of pull, but nothing like what he would be considered now. And just even that, just the fact that he has to go hunt for somebody to give him a chance to make this weird, quirky, original sci-fi movie, like it doesn't really. We tend to presume that this was that because it succeeded, we presume that the path was easy, and that's not the case in the
By
slightest.
the way, on a tangent because you mentioned American Graffiti. American
Mhm.
Graffiti is like All the President's Men. It's the
Mhm.
most enjoyable, boring movie that you'll ever watch.
Nothing happens, but everything happens.
I love watching both of those movies, but they're
Mhm.
incredibly boring. That sounds weird to say. I mean, it's not like in All the President's Men, the biggest thing that you're on your edge is when you think Robert Redford's being chased through the parking garage. But otherwise, yes, but there's intrigue and there's interesting things happening. But you know what I mean. It's not your.
Mhm.
It doesn't have the beats that a lot of movies do. It's just telling a story. And American Graffiti is the same way. I love American Graffiti, and it's a great movie, but it's like great boring movie.
I was going to
Mhm.
say the pacing is really what you're referring to, which is like the just kind of deliberate, and you're just kind of sitting there enjoying the views and the sights and the sounds. It's like sit. You know what I liken it to? If you grew up in a small town, and it's 10 o'clock on a Friday, and you're like, "Hey, let's go do something with your buds," and you're like, "Yeah, what do we do?
You just drive around.
Let's drive down the main drag,
Yeah.
right? Yeah." And you see almost nothing,
Maybe we'll have to
but it's a
do a
thing to do.
show on American Graffiti. I think that's but anyway, it might be kind of fun.
That we should definitely do. Maybe we do a live watch of that one.
But again, I want to say our whole thing here is just always about tempering expectations. Again, remember, you're going to see, like we've talked about, you're going to see the Who when they're in their 60s. So if you're expecting the Who when they were 22 years old, Keith Moon ain't going to be there. John Entwistle's not going to be there. They're going to probably roll out on, but you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be an enjoyable concert. It's good, but don't expect, Roger Daltrey to go throwing the microphone around in circles, so.
Or what's his name?
No, Pete Townsend did a couple
No,
windmills
I'm
on
saying
the
smash the guitar at
on
the
the
end.
guitar. He did a couple windmills, and I was like, oh, okay, he can do that. All right, cool. So, yeah, just enjoy it. But it'll be fun to watch what the slap fights are on the internet.
We're all happy about this, right? All three of
Absolutely,
us. We're like
100%.
we're in the demographic where it's like this is great, right? Because like I mean, again, like if you're young enough and you don't know the backstory, George refused for years and years and years and years and years to make this available to fans, and fans asked for it over and over again. After the special editions came
They
out,
were
some people
so
just didn't
mad.
like. Yeah, people didn't like the changes, and George was like, "No, nope, that's the version of the film now. That's what you get." And so, like, for people who've been waiting, since 1997, I've been waiting a while.
I have a feeling they're gonna. I have a feeling there's gonna be a bunch of them that are gonna go. That's it. You know.
Yeah. But it is a big deal for them, and I want it to acknowledge,
100%.
like, yeah, get excited. It's awesome. But yeah,
know what you're getting. Yeah.
Yeah, in a year you're gonna see. It's
So one last question, and maybe considered, how long of a release window do you think they'll have for this? Do you think it'll just be like a week, like weekend? Like I'm looking like, mentioned the Lord of the Rings release. That's just a weekend. That is gonna be, you go see the first movie
It'll
Friday,
take a
second
whole
movie Saturday,
weekend to
fifth-
watch all 3 of those movies, for crying out loud. I mean, they should at least release it for 2 weekends. I mean, you're not going to get
That's
through
what
it
I'm
all.
saying. But that's what I'm saying. It's like this is just one movie, but do you think like the demand, the desire to go see this in theaters? Because again, we undermine this. Star Wars is A New Hope is a movie built to be seen in a big screen. Everything from the THX sound, the special effects, everything. There's some movies that you can watch at home and they don't lose the fidelity
When's
of
it coming
at
out?
home.
When's it coming out?
February 19,
Okay,
2027.
so I would guess it's probably going to be a couple weeks, because you're usually, it seems to be in kind of a lull for when, because you have the Christmas releases, and then you're going to have people gearing up for the summer releases. So I maybe a couple weeks. I don't know.
Okay.
The market's going to be there. I mean, people are going to see it multiple times if they can.
And that's really my thought, is that you could sell out theaters in no time flat with it. I mean, the special editions releases 20 years ago proved it. Those theaters were sold out, and that was, I think, only a week long, or maybe even less than that. Maybe it was just about a week for each one of the movies.
it
Time
was at least a couple. It was a couple.
Mhm.
Like,
And
and
hey,
then
and by the way, kids, here's how stressful. There was no online pre-buying of tickets. You had to go get your butt in line
or
and-
seat selection,
and-
and
hope to God that you got in. I mean, so there's a lot of interest. I mean, get off my lawn. You don't know how easy you got it, because you're going to be able to pick your seats and have your tickets well in advance. So yeah.
I am so confused right now, because I know I went and I saw at least the first movie, I think all 3 in my hometown. And at that point I was in college. So I don't know if I was just driving home and it just happened to line up, or if I had planned that to try to be at home to watch it.
We made a special, because we were living in northeast Nebraska, and we made special weekend trips to Lincoln to go see it with our friends.
Yeah.
It was that big of a deal. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Like, when you were talking about this, like, it made me laugh, because like I cannot. Somebody's like, "Oh, we got a special re-release of this movie coming out," and whatever it is, right? They do this all the time now for older movies. Just like, "Oh, it's the 25th anniversary, or it's the 40th anniversary," and if they give me a week's notice, there's no shot in heck. It's like, I got 3 kids, and they're all going every direction. It's like herding cats, right? Like, I cannot. There is no chance when this stuff happens. So, like, at least with this,
Dave's going to have a family meeting and say, "Listen,
Yeah.
everybody,
Right.
nobody's doing
Yeah.
anything the week of February 19th."
right?
nothing
Right.
is happening.
Mardi
Yes.
Gras. When's Mardi Gras happening that year?
Right?
Do we know?
Yeah. No.
February 9th. February
Okay.
9th.
Oh, okay,
Again,
good. All right.
I'm
He's
keenly
already
aware of
on
those
it.
dates.
Yeah.
No. I'm keenly aware because my birthday's February 10th. I turned 50 on Ash Wednesday.
Mine's February
So-
13th. Yeah. So,
So-
hey, this is a good birthday present. All right, cool.
Yeah, man. It's just I appreciate that they're telling us this far in advance as a parent, because like there's no chance I could go on a like 2 weeks notice or something.
Well, all right. Let's do some dreaming, shall we? Let's do our pitches to the to Lucasfilm and to Disney. So I don't know. I think we each took 3. By the way, I have a couple of honorable mentions in honor of Dave, because I do have a couple. I have several ideas. But I'm going to start because I'm talking right now. And I'm going to lump a group all into one. Sorry if I take this from you. And by the way, I'm going to say I think this would be great as everything would be great live action, but I want to be realistic. I think this would actually be good in an animated form, and that is from a certain point of view. All three of them.
That'd be wonderful.
Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, have the animation kind of like the Clone Wars or Rebels or something like that, and have each, I mean, they're short stories, so I think they would fit well into like a 20-minute episode, and like I said, animated form, and it'd be kind of almost like Visions in a way, where it's Star Wars adjacent. It's like because the stuff is happening in the background, it would follow the flow of A New Hope. I think that would be a really interesting animated series. It's already written for you. So I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
Fun idea.
I think it would be cost prohibitive as live action.
Yeah, you couldn't really do this as live action, particularly if you start, excuse me, thinking back to like the original trilogy.
You're
But I'm thinking
recasting with some, yeah.
too much drama. I think animation wise, whether you do it with the
But the but
Japanese
the but
studios,
however, the certain point of view. I mean, a lot of you're getting a lot of the background characters and stuff like that. But I agree with you though that, I mean, just for if you do the animation, then you can kind of squint and make it work. But yeah.
no, but for example, like think of like a chapter like the one that Brittany Williams, who we had on the show, wrote regarding
L3. Yeah.
Millennium Falcon, 3 as the brain inside the Millennium Falcon. Doing that in live action would feel not weird, but be way too esoteric. I like the idea of doing it as she experiencing the ship changing hands, going through the events of A New Hope and Empire and Jedi. You could bring back Phoebe Waller-Bridges to uh, do her voice for L3 as the Falcon. So that would be a fun 15-minute, short story animation format. And I think that gives you that opportunity because animation, in a way, is better suited for those kind of experiments. And people would be more welcoming and accepting of it. So, yeah, I think that's a tremendous idea.
I like the immediate comparison for me is What If
Mm-hmm.
with Marvel,
Mhm.
because you're not always they don't always get the original actors. They usually do, but they can just animate them as they originally appeared on screen, and off we go. And you don't really, you're like, okay, here we go. Here's a different version of events, or a different alternate reality in What If's case. But with Star Wars, it's not that big a leap to just say, well, from this point of view,
Mm-hmm.
we have this. So yeah, I kind of like that.
You can almost be like the end of Clue. Maybe this is how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I like it. I like it. I guess I'll jump in right quick and I'll throw in my last one first because we were talking about it. I think I've mentioned this idea first. I want, and this would be a great Disney Plus show idea. We're talking about Andor. I want to follow this rebellion splinter that is led by Mon Mothma and Val from Yavin after the Battle of Yavin, where they'll have to scatter and see the rebellion through that faction of the rebellion's eyes. We follow in the movies, we follow Han, Luke, Leia, the Hoth. But that's not all of them. We know that because the Jedi is when they finally go, okay, the alliance is back together. The band is back together at long last after getting scattered after the Empire came to follow us in Yavin. So I want to follow that. I think it would give us number one. It would give us a way to continue some of those storylines from Andor. It bring back again great male characters and actresses, but it also allows you to see the struggle and the difficulties of the rebellion from a different point of view. It's a different dynamic. These aren't
Has
the heroes with the plot armor. These aren't the chosen ones. These are just normal citizens of the republic fighting against the empire trying to stay alive. And I think that creates a better dynamic for drama.
Has anybody written anything about what Mon Mothma was doing between episode 4 and episode 6? Because I mean, all of a sudden she just shows up. I didn't know if anybody's written anything, because
Not off the top of my head that I can
fertile.
think
I
of.
think that is fertile ground. I think that is good.
I think she appeared in some Legends stuff.
One of my other options is similar to that, Fredo. But anyway, so
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much nothing canon at this point, right? Like it's all if it exists, it's pretty much all Legends stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, bring it on, right? Like at the end of Andor, we were all kind of like, A, the women were amazing, and B, gosh, I'm sad this show is over. Give us the women, give us more of the women. I'm way into that idea.
Yeah, it just, I think it creates an opportunity to continue that story while also giving us an element that goes like, okay,
Nope, there goes
we
Fredo
know
frozen.
where our leads, our heroes from the original trilogy were. Oh,
He
did I go
froze.
away?
He
That's like
froze.
clockwork,
No,
man.
wait.
Like
Yeah.
every time we hit like 45 minutes on this thing, like it seems like, oh, Fredo froze.
Yeah, anyway, so yep, I just got the alert saying my internet connection is not entirely stable. So
Not entirely
uh,
stable. Well, I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Go plug the professor in the
so
back. Okay.
okay, but that's my idea. That's my idea. Go on, Dave.
Um. Okay, so we didn't really talk about parameters or rules for this, and so it was just kind of like,
No rules.
give us your wish list, right?
Yeah, no rules.
Well, my wish list is totally something that we're going to get, which is Thrawn, and the Mandaverse, Ahsoka season 2, the crossover, all this stuff, which is basically a proxy for the Heir to the Empire books that we got, and which is just Thrawn, sprinkle in some Ahsoka, some Rebels. Again, with the Mando crossover, I'm sure you're going to get, other characters and so forth into this. I'm into it, man. Like, you're giving me exactly what I want. I love Rebels. I loved Heir to the Empire. I love basically every version of Thrawn that we have gotten to this point. I can't get enough. Yeah, like I'm in, right? Like
he's
you're
the
already
first-
giving me what I want. This
he's
is what
the
I
first-
want. That's my wish list.
First, I guess Moff Gideon a little bit, but Thrawn was is really the only big baddie that we've had besides the Emperor. Everything's been the Emperor, and everybody else has been kind of a toady to the Emperor. Even Darth Vader, yes, he didn't have, I don't know, it just didn't. Thrawn has the gravitas that, same gravitas that the Emperor has. Yeah.
He fulfills a function within the story. I mean, the Emperor is a grand Machiavellian supervillain, whereas Thrawn is a lot more like Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes. He is when you get what's his name, Mickelson to perform him. But it's that idea of somebody who is feeding you with his mind. He's feeding, because you never see. Yes, you do see him sometimes in action fighting in Rebels, but he's primarily a thinking opponent. He's somebody who's planning 5 months ahead of you to capture you before you even know. And there's something that is appealing and attractive to that, to those kinds of characters. And we don't get enough of them. We get a lot of guys who think they have that in Star Wars, but we find out mighty quick they ain't. Thrawn is the one who keeps coming back as being, no, I really have that. So, getting to know more about the way he processes and the way he thinks and the way because we forget the Empire is a rather speciest is a nice way of saying it, organization. So the fact that he got to rose to Grand Admiral, it's not by accident. They didn't just luck into that.
I feel like He's such an interesting character. Again, like you talk about this, there's this latent racism within the
Mm,
empire, and he overcame that. Um, Again, he's this tactician. He's got this brilliant mind, and I love the in one of these things, this motif that you see in the X-Men movies, which is Charles um, and Magneto playing chess with one
mm,
another as they're sort of discussing the state of things, at varying points. Like, we've reached a break in our conflict. Fancy a game? And you can kind of see the gears turning as they're moving their pieces about the board, and there's just something so appealing about that. And again, like you said, I'm done with the Emperor. Like, no, no more. No, Sheev, sorry, I love you, but no, we're all done here.
Steve has
Give
too
us
much
somebody
blood
else.
armor.
Yeah.
Sheev has too much blood armor. He cannot be your main antagonist.
All right, I'll get to my number two here. Like I said, kind of related to what Fredo was talking about, and I'm going to put a little asterisk next to it. But Shadows of the Empire. Again, it's that space. There's a lot of space between Episode 5 and Episode 6, between Empire and Jedi. I I think you could take that story and tweak it a little bit so that maybe Shizor isn't, trying to seduce Leia and take out some of that creepiness out of it. But when you've got Boba Fett and, IG-88, fighting over, things, and I'm sorry, I keep leaning animation, but I think this is another one that would be good in animation because I think you could get some voice actors that are pretty close to um, Luke and Leia. Um, yeah, and I just remember enjoying having that gap filled, and it was a fun story. I know it's not canon or anything, but Shadows of the Empire is I think would be make kind of a neat little, and it really would only need to be it wouldn't have to be very many episodes at all. You know,
Could be like a short series,
yeah,
some that they kind of do like Obi-Wan Kenobi, where it's like maybe six long episodes,
yeah.
and
And
you
like I
know,
said, I think it would lend well to animation, but um,
mm,
I think you bring up a really good point too, which is this idea of animation being a tool for potentially bringing back characters that would be maybe difficult to bring back otherwise, such as Leia. Um, I'm surprised, maybe not surprised, but just like I'm still waiting for them to do more of that, because that's a tool in their tool belt. They have the ability
well,
to
and
utilize animation in this way.
Dave Filoni has said that when they were talking about the dark saber, when they were trying to design the dark saber for live action, he said, "Remember, animation is kind of like it's an artist rendering of what the actual thing is, and so you have some freedom to. It's like the portraits you see of George Washington is not exactly how George Washington looked, and yeah, you can fudge on the voices a little bit as long as you get close. It's kind of like in Rebels when they had Princess Leia in that episode of Rebels. That was I mean, that was I think they could have done better, but after about 2 minutes, I was like, all right, fine, it's Princess Leia. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But if it was live action, I would have been like all in my feelings. So
it's much harder because there's a higher threshold that we hold for accountability in live action, whereas animation, you kind of go, if it feels right, we
but
go
the
with it.
the other thing about Shadows of the Empire is that yeah, the Emperor's kind of in it. Vader's kind of in it, but it's a different baddie. It's some different dynamics. We got the alarm going off, so we're gonna have to hustle. But I don't know if you guys liked Shadows of the Empire at all, but I thought that would be kind of a neat little series. So
It's a fun story. It's something that again fills that hole that we have about the events between the movies, which books and games and stuff we're accustomed to filling, but getting the opportunity to sit down and just experience them together, because not everybody read Shadows of the Empire, not everybody played Shadows of the Empire. but everybody will watch it if it comes out on Disney Plus. Or whatever.
All right, Fredo,
I-
what's
I'm
your next
I'm
one?
I'm going to mention something that's been announced and then has been put on the back burner and then announced again and put back burner. Rogue Squadron. Now, here's where I get into, I figure you're free to do whatever you want. You could set this anywhere. Want to set it in the Age of the Rebellion? Cool. You want to set this in the post Rebellion Mandoverse era? Cool. You want to set it with, say, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron at the start of the New Republic? Go for it before the Resistance. Cool. I'm just surprised because when I think of Star Wars, I yes, clearly lightsabers, Jedi, Sith, X-wings and X-wing pilots and dogfighting, that is central. I mean, before we got Yoda, before we got all this stuff, we had X-wing battles. Everybody, there isn't a kid alive who did not want to own an X-wing and fly one. You mean to tell me you can't give me, never mind a TV show, a movie where you have jockeys just daring to get on and just fly through?
I feel the need for speed.
Exactly. It's like exactly. I mean, tell me that something like The Last Starfighter is not something that every kid went, well, I don't get an X-wing.
So
but
are you thinking live action, or are you thinking animation, or either?
For this, I would want live action.
So
I mean,
because
animation would be great. Animation would be great, and actually, because if you go back and you look, and I don't know if you guys ever seen like 80s, 90s Japanese animation where it's like where they're launching a ridiculous amount of rockets and missiles, and dog fighters just die one pilot in one ship just dodges them all, and it looks cool. That'd be awesome to see
well,
with the next thing. And they've done short clips of that kind of stuff. But I think with I would want a series. I would want something like that where it's live action. People get to know characters. People get to experience it. Because again, I think there is as much X-wing and dogfighting, and those ships are just as integral to Star Wars as the lightsaber.
my thing, the reason why I asked is because when you start saying, could it be in the Rebellion? Could it be in the sequel? Could it be, if it was animation, it'd be really easy. What about all of them? You see the the breadth of the story of Rogue Squadron, where it starts, and how it evolves, and different people's stories in this. I think that
No.
be kind of
You can have everything. You can even start with Luke and Wedge and finish with Poe. That could be that kind of transition as you go through the agents. And we can convince what's the name, Dave Filoni, that Trapper Wolf was like Rogue 7 or whatever. He'd be happy.
Dave, what's your next one?
So this one might be controversial, but I want to see it. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I do want to see it done, which is The World Between Worlds. I want us to go there. I want an Indiana Jones style adventure where it's the pursuit of the control of time, and then maybe we sprinkle in a little bit of time travel while we're there.
All right, so let's merge yours here with what my next one was going to be. What if it was, because I was going to say Dr. Aphra. I mean, what if you merged, because I think that would be an awesome character. You talk about an Indiana Jones. She's an archaeologist. And marry those two things. So there we go. We're going to pitch that to Lucasfilm. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
it would be an easy pitch to George in particular, right? Because they got Indiana Jones, they got Star Wars. Let's marry the two.
It'll be interesting if we see any more World Between Worlds. I think you're going to have to in Ahsoka season 2. That's the only way I can see how they get
Hayden
back.
Yeah.
No, just get back to where they came from.
Oh.
I think that's. I mean, because otherwise they're going to have to come up with build some giant hyperdrive that they don't have, or lasso a Purgle. I think they're going to have to fudge with space and time, and
you've got me stroking the beard here.
Or Ezra's going to be the one to, because Ezra's been in the World Between Worlds, so if he can get to them to bring them back, You know, you're going to have a little bit of Back to the Future, you know, 3, 2, whatever.
Ahsoka lived there for time, right? Or
No, she went through a portal.
She
he went
She,
through, and he, yeah.
yeah,
So
they,
she had as much knowledge as he did, though,
yeah.
roughly.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I agree with you that I think there's, and that
There's a
also
lot of
could,
potential there.
it's also kind of Marvel what if as well. You know, what if we change this one thing, this one domino in Star Wars lore and history? That would be interesting.
Those are some of the best time travel stories, right? Which is like, well, what if you change this one
The
little
butterfly
thing?
effect, yeah.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. And I go back to X-Men again. I don't know why I'm on X-Men, but like Days of Future Past was like that, where it was it's like, if we change this one little thing. And yeah, I knew that time travel, Star Wars. I feel anxious about it, but I'm in, man. If you can do it well, don't be afraid of doing something just because it's hard or difficult or challenging. I want to see him do it. I want to see him try.
And I'm sorry, you cannot. If anybody gets mad about it and then says they love Endgame, then they need to take 2 seats. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's far more. At least Star Wars has already put it out there with that one Rebels episode. You know that this is a thing. And then, okay, so then we go back into Ahsoka and we go back into it, and people are like, okay, it's a thing and it's a possibility. So people can't really be all up in their feelings if we use it. But yeah, if they get mad about it and they like Endgame, then they need to take 2 seats. So,
But I'm with you. Live action, Dr. Afra.
Yep. Merge those 2. Fredo?
Yeah, that was actually one of my like honorable mentions I was thinking because I mean just the idea of having kind of a great character, not a great Jedi, a great character who
Right.
works for
Right.
the Empire, can deal with Vader, can deal with the bureaucrats and the gangsters and the whatever, but it's doing it for the paycheck also whatever, by being Indy Jones. It's a great, it combines a lot of good things to whatever. So for my last one, I'm gonna kind of throw back to way back when, and I'm gonna mention I Want a Knights of the Old Republic TV shows. And for one reason, I want people to get why Darth Revan is such a big deal. And partly, because I mean, we talk about the James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi kind of movie that's supposedly one day eventually going to come out. The old Republic period that the games depicted. Sometimes it feels similar, but it's different. And I just love the element of I think the Acolyte tried doing this, but they weren't able to separate it enough. You could create something that feels Star Wars, but not like the Star Wars we've seen, not like the Star Wars we know. You could have obviously if this would have to be a movie because if you're picturing big giant battles with like thousands of Jedi and Sith, in a battlefield, that's not Disney Plus's budget. You need big Disney, you need big mouse money. Yeah. But I would want that. I would want a Natural the Road Republic story that kind of maybe not necessarily follow the game per se, but actually gets you at that, gets the idea. Because there was always in the games hints about bigger threats, other dangers, etc. Kind of explains some of those elements of what Sith and Jedi, whatever. So that idea of bringing that to life, you know, I was gonna say, get Adam Driver to be Darth Revan. That'd be a funny casting, but maybe not. Maybe get somebody who has the gravitas to pull that role and just watch people go like, oh, we get why everybody was geeking out about this 25, 30 years ago.
I know that Leslie Headland was talking about maybe wanting to do something with that story. I don't know that she'll get the opportunity, but that was on her radar. It's interesting because part of the impact of the storytelling twists in that story are that they're occurring to your character, like you. right? Your
After you
alter
create it.
ego, who
Right.
you are. And so like it's really kind of like it's more impactful because it's you, right?
Right.
Um I don't know if I
That'll
don't know if you
translate.
would yeah, I don't know if you'd get that on film in quite the same way, but I also feel like the lore there is great. There's so much cool story going on there that it doesn't matter so much that you preserve any particular twists or um, story beats because there's so much good lore that you can pull from. You can kind of pick and choose the sorts of things that you want to include, and and there's so much there. I mean, there's so much there. It's like weird, crazy stuff that you wouldn't even think of if you had never played that game because it's like, okay, there was this warmonger species that had conquered the galaxy before the Jedi and Sith were even really a thing. And you're like, huh? What? Okay. All right. Let's, oh, wow. And they still exist. And like, mind blown on that. Um, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to sink your teeth into.
Yeah, seeing just getting to see the Mandalorians in their prime, actual
Mm-hmm.
being
So,
like the
yeah, I
Republic
didn't.
has to the Republic has to actually take actual efforts in order to keep the Mandalorians from get banding together. Because every time they get
Mm.
together, they decide, okay, we're gonna take over stuff and we're gonna battle and just tear the galaxy in two. It's like, okay, no, we can't do that. We gotta knock them down a bit. So again, it's the lore, the story. I get your point about the impact of the Revan reveal probably being diluted by being third person as opposed to first person. But I still think the lore and the dynamics and all of it are very, very good. And
Mhm.
again, you're trying to mine for content. You literally have hundreds of hours there. You can just start mining for to make something out of.
Dave, what's your last one?
I'm gonna go with make Solo 2 happen.
Hmm, I agree. That's a good one.
That or the Carlissian Chronicles, right? Like I'm not picky. Uh but Solo was good. It was very, very good. Donald Glover was excellent. Um there's been a lot of movement and then starts and stops and starts and stops and just feels like a giant tease at this
Do
point.
you
But I
think
feel
we're
like there's enough there.
do
There is. I enjoyed the first movie so much that I would be all in on
do you think we're
a
gonna
sequel.
get any of that stuff in the mall uh series that's coming up?
Crimson Dawn.
I mean, maybe a
You
little
know,
bit of the. Do you think we're going to see some of the Kira stuff? And I mean, you could even work in Han Solo if you wanted to. If you can get, you could even get Alden Ehrenreich to do a voiceover. I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to be a full Solo too, but I'm just wondering if some of that, you know, material might show up in that.
it makes you think, and that it makes me. My guess would be yes, and it makes me wonder if part of the reason that particular project got greenlit was to try to create a little more momentum for a Darth Maul on screen return.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, because as far as most audiences know, until Solo and his reveal there, he was gone. It was just 1999 was the last time anybody knew or cared about Darth Maul. They completely missed everything in Clone Wars. So his appearance in Solo was like, for a lot of people, was like, what the what? Like
My
mind blowing moment.
my brother and I had that exact conversation. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, no, Dave, that's a good one, I would agree wholeheartedly. Um, I'm going to throw out one honorable mention here, and this is kind of a little tongue in cheek, and this would not be like a series. I would think if you could just do a couple shorts, a couple scenes, if you will, I think would be kind of funny. Adapting the Shakespeare versions of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I think that would be kind of fun. Just, I
Mm.
I think you know, like I said, whether even if you want to do that as Lego, I suppose, I don't know, but you know, it's so it's interesting that somebody put the time. I've got the book sitting right over here. It's interesting that people put the time in to put it into the stylings of Shakespeare, and then just I just think it would be funny. I think it would be funny. So, like I said, could be a Visions type of a thing. Like I said, just a couple scenes, not the whole Empire Strikes Back, but what about you know, the Vader Luke battle or something? Yeah, I don't know, just kind of fun. Any honorable mentions from you guys? Oh, another honorable mention I have that I'll just, and then we can all just toss them out at once. Is I've mentioned it before, the Tales from Jabba's Palace. I think that you could do like a Tales of the Jedi type thing, but longer stories and more of them. I wish those tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of whatever, I wish those had more episodes to them. I wish they had and were a little bit longer. So, Tales from Jabba's Palace. Anyway, Fredo, yours?
For me, the honorable mention was going to be Jedi Academy. Love the game series and or the game. I just love the idea of just giving us maybe just a couple of seasons of actually seeing Luke being a master, and they will get interesting how the heck we make that happen. But just the idea of walking us through the process of the academy being set up, people learning the Force. In some ways, it might hint to similar nature to some of the stuff that the Acolyte kind of touched upon, because obviously the specter in the party is going to be Ben Solo learning the Force. You know, young Ben Solo running around lightsaber, going like, "Hey kids, in a few years," much like the prequels did with Anakin. It's like all the hinting about, you know, in a few years he's going to break this party down, you know, really ugly style. So that element, again, to know some of the characters that we only see masked or that we get hinted at in the sequels. That element, and giving us an opportunity to kind of maybe delve a little bit more into the Force, delve more into the processes and everything. Just and again, none says Star Wars like lightsabers. Here you go, get a whole bunch of lightsabers.
I'll beat a dead horse and bring up the Ben Solo movie. Sounds
Why
fun.
not?
Everybody, everything I heard about it sounds great. So, okay, sign me up. Let's do it.
Cool. Well, all right. Anybody out there, you have ideas you'd like to pitch to Lucasfilm, let us know in whatever platform you want. Or if I'm getting my haircut, Alan, tell me what you think, because like I said, Alan is big into the expanded universe. That's another thing we really didn't, the Legends, the EU stuff, you talk about fodder. I mean, you could even pitch it as with Ahsoka saying there's a lot of truth in Legends, and just like somebody telling a story, and take something from those books. We didn't even talk about all that. But like I said, if you have your ideas, let us know. But until then, we'll say who dat?
Who dat?
I didn't get a who dat out of that guy.
All right.
Who dat?
You watch your McClunky. All right, everybody have a good week. We'll see you later.
McClunky.